like I was 15, I was so overweight that like, you know, when you're 6'3" and 260 something pounds, like just moving and not eating 10 grilled cheese a day will make you lose weight, right?
Yeah.
So
you
it's
used
like
to tell me what you used to eat. Yeah.
yeah, I would,
Yeah,
well,
that's fire.
and it hurts because it comes like a reinforcement loop, and it's just difficult because, you know, you go to school, right? Like for example, like with me, you go to school and people already make fun of you for being fat. You're already, you know, you're overweight, but people make fun of you for it, and they call you like, they're like, hey titties, come here, and you're like, what do you want me to do? Or like they used to do this thing called scooping the patty, right? They would go underneath my chest and go like this and like flip the patty and burn, and it's like,
Bro,
I was
they
like,
would do that to you?
all the time. Yeah, I mean, I've heard
I'm
every
so
fat joke on the
sorry.
planet. No,
Were
it's
those
like I've
your
heard every,
friends or like
oh
fucked
yeah,
up
friends. Yeah, no,
Oh, okay.
like friends would do it, and they would do it in front of girls that I had crushes on. Like it's just, it was one of those things. That's what people do.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's high school, man. It's awful.
I'm gonna
Like,
put a photo of Max from his recent competition right here, so you guys could
and
see.
they'll be like,
Actually, I'm gonna
oh, dude,
pull
you're
it up.
like way too skinny, bro. You need to add some mass. And I'll be like, listen, man, like I'm 19. What do you want me to do? But all that to say, like, it's a reinforcement loop, right? So people make fun of you for eating too much, and like you can't eat a salad, right, when you're that fat, because then people are like, oh, you're trying to lose weight, fatty. And it's like, well, what the fuck do you want from me? You know? Because like I would, yeah, no, it's like I would try to like diet. I would do stupid things. I'd be like, I'm going to eat like leafy greens for lunch and shit. And it's like, and people would make fun of me for it. And I'm like, well, fuck do you want me to do? But so anyways, all that to say, over the summer, I had finally just broken, right? I was like, fuck it. I have to change something. And I'm going to be so honest. It was like the catalyst was a girl. And I was like, again, 15, I have the summer. And I told one of my friends who was like, Mr. like, oh, I love lifting and I'm always in shape, because he was, you know, already into that shit. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, he didn't believe me. But anyways, so it started with walking a lot more, because it's summer, right? You're 15. Oh yeah.
This is a photo of Max from a recent competition. She just wants
Thanks. That's almost 2 years ago now, but you guys can tell me I look way too skinny. I know. My coach underwatered me, and we didn't have enough carbs and a whole slew of other things, but that was my first men's physique natural show. So, but anyways, all that to say, it was just one of those things where I just tried everything, right? I would try to walk outside as much as I could. I would take the dog outside. I would walk to and from like the gym, and I would go, and like I didn't know how to lift, so I would just do random shit. Like I would do push-ups and fucking sit-ups and whatever. And so I changed the vegetables. Like I would just randomly eat like chicken thighs and vegetables, and I wouldn't eat anything different, right? Or I would just drink a protein shake and have a fruit. And it's like, you don't actually know how calories how it works at that point, but it worked. And so after like 3 or 4 months, I had gone from like 260-ish to like 230-ish, and then down to 205 by the time school had started. And at that point, it was
more big titties.
No, well, kind of, but people were like starting to notice, and it was one of those things where once you get the ball rolling, I think it's a lot easier to keep it going, right? So one of the things in my training that I teach my clients, right, I always try to start with a small victory, because I want you to feel like, hey, like, you know what, I can do this, right? Because once you break that negative habit, I think it's a really good enforcement loop. Like, you know, maybe it's starting with a good lift, or even if, and I'm going to be so honest, a lot of the times I just lie, and I'm like, holy shit, like, wow, like you've learned that so, like you're the only client that's learned that quickly. Like it's whatever, but it makes them feel good, and then they're more likely to come back. And that's important, right?
If your Max's clients do not watch this podcast,
God, I hope not. But no, and it's that's what it's like. And so as I got better at it, I kept learning, and I just kept trying different things. And this was when Athlean-X, and if this guy still exists on YouTube, Gravity Transformations is out there. His name's also Max. And if he's still there, I just want to give him the biggest shout out, because he is the reason I have a career and paid my way through college with personal training, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without his videos. But all that to say, it's good content, and it was something that actually taught me quite a bit, and it became like him. And so it started with him, and it got to the point where like I started learning more and more, and then reading, and it's like reasons you should lift heavy, and what you should eat, and like how to do creatine, and like I don't think a lot of it's great information. Like I haven't read any of it or watched any of it in years, but the fact of the matter is like it is a start. And so once I had done that, I had started lifting weights, and I didn't do it consistently enough, because I was like, I didn't know. And I didn't realize like cardio wasn't going to make me look the way I wanted. So I lost a lot of fat, but I still wasn't looking the way I wanted. So after I'd lost like 40, 50 pounds, I was like, okay, something's not right. So I started trying the weights, and I just kept Googling things. And every time I was like, okay, what should I do to lift? So I was doing like bicep curls and like chest press and like lat pull downs and fucking like leg press. Well, I was like, okay, maybe I should learn some other stuff, right? And local like gym members helped me, and people around, and of course the internet is huge. But that was like prime 2019 Gymshark, right? That was back when like you had David Lade, you had Lex Little, like you had James English, like that was Chef Kiss was prime. Like things did not get better than that. Yeah. But after watching a lot of those videos, you know, I had learned, and about 3 to 4 months later, right around Christmas 2019, it's like I'd finally gotten my weight under control. I was 185 pounds at 6'4", and like it got to the point where every time I'd go to school, I would wear like a baggy sweatshirt or a hoodie because I wanted people to know, but I didn't. And it was a weird like back and forth where like I would wear this. I had this pink hoodie, which now it's like skin tight, and I actually had to throw it out because it's too small, which is kind of cool. But back then nobody could tell because I always wore the hoodie and I'd have it up and didn't really talk to anybody. Didn't have like I wasn't popular, obviously. I was a fucking loser. But then like a couple months go by, people are like, wait a minute, like you have a jawline now. And I was like, I know. Where's my like double chin? And like they like notice, they're like, oh, what are you drinking? It's like a protein shake, and like I'd eat like cold vegetables for lunch. But it
You
got to
didn't
the
have
point
the
people
school
noticed.
lunches?
I did qualify, but I didn't want to because I was like, I'm just going to drink a protein shake and eat my
Bro, I
vegetables.
love those shits so much.
Yeah. I mean, they're good. I wasn't going to fuck with the diet, because the
Yeah.
diet's the most important part. And that's what I had learned. And so it's like, once I had gotten it under control, like I joined the swim team and I was lifting weights and I started boxing and I kept doing these things and I kept finding new ways to make it work. And that's really what started it, right? So at that point, the ball was rolling, and then it got to the point where it's like, okay, then I overdid it, and then I was like 172 pounds, and then I was super skinny because I'm again tall, and I was like, okay, I have to actually lift weights and COVID, yada yada. But that's what started it. It was just one of those things where I finally figured it out and made it work. And I think my favorite thing about all of it was like nobody knew, right? Nobody in my town went to the gym. Like it was our local gym. I did it, didn't post anything. Like nobody knew about it. And so that's one of the things I love about it, because I realized how much better it would have been had someone been cheering me on. And that's really what I think a lot of people should be doing, right?